Josh groaned as his sister, Lisa, dabbed at the small cut on his forehead with a cotton pad. The cool sensation was a welcome relief from the throbbing pain. Lisa, a stunningly beautiful woman with long, flowing hair, was a stark contrast to the disheveled look Josh currently sported. "Ow, that stings, Lisa," Josh complained, trying to distract himself from the sting of the antiseptic. Lisa rolled her eyes playfully. "Toughen up, little brother. You're going to have to deal with worse than this if you keep getting into trouble." As Lisa finished bandaging him up, Josh's mind was racing. He had to get back to the Backrooms. Selvic and Sarah needed him. But how? He didn't have the teleporter, and he certainly didn't know how to create a portal on his own. "Hey, lil bro," Lisa said, breaking through his thoughts. "Can you explain to me what's wrong with you? You've been mumbling about this Backrooms thing all day? Like, what kind of thing is that?" Josh hesitated. Should he tell her? Part of him wanted to confide in his sister, but the other part was terrified of her reaction. "It's true, Lisa," Josh finally said, taking a deep breath. "The Backrooms is a secret realm. It exists." Lisa raised an eyebrow, a mix of amusement and disbelief on her face. "Oh, please, stop watching so many movies. There's no such thing as the Backrooms." Josh couldn't help but laugh at her incredulity. "I'm serious, Lisa. I've been there twice," Lisa scoffed. "Twice? You're really stretching it now. You're probably dreaming or something." "Fine, be that way," Josh retorted, a little hurt. "But I'm telling you, it's real." Lisa crossed her arms, a challenging look in her eyes. "Okay, smart guy, prove it to me, and I'll believe you." Josh paused, realizing the absurdity of his situation. How could he possibly prove the existence of a hidden dimension to his skeptical sister? "Yeah, but how am I supposed to get back there?" he asked, more to himself than to Lisa. Lisa smirked. "That's your problem. Prove to me that the Backrooms is real, and I'll believe you. Simple." With that, Lisa grabbed her plate and headed to the kitchen, leaving Josh alone with his thoughts. He knew he had to find a way back to the Backrooms, but how? Josh let out a long, exasperated sigh as he sank into the soft cushions of his bed. His mind was racing, trying to piece together the puzzle of how to get back to the Backrooms. Selvic and Sarah needed him, but he was trapped in this mundane world, a prisoner of his own reality. Suddenly, something hard hit the floor with a thud. Josh looked down to see a small metallic device lying at his feet. It was the teleporter, the one Selvic had given him, warning him never to break it. A wave of excitement washed over him. This was his ticket back to the Backrooms. He picked up the device, examining it closely, but his joy quickly turned to dismay. One side of the device was cracked, and the wires were exposed. He had broken it. "Damn it," Josh muttered, his heart sinking. "Oh my God, I broke the promise to Selvic. I'll never forgive myself." The teleporter was his only hope of reaching Selvic and Sarah. Without it, he was trapped in this world, powerless to help his friends. As he examined the broken device, his eyes fell on a piece of paper that had been tucked inside. It was a detailed drawing of the teleporter, a blueprint of its internal structure. It was Selvic's handwriting. "Oh, it's Selvic's drawing," Josh murmured, a glimmer of hope returning to his eyes. More like a blueprint. Determination fueled him. He had to fix the teleporter, no matter what. It was his only chance to save Selvic and Sarah. Night fell, and Josh retreated to his workshop downstairs. The room was filled with the tools of his trade, a testament to his love for tinkering and creating. He laid out the broken teleporter on his workbench, the drawing serving as his guide. "I have to save Selvic and Sarah," Josh muttered to himself, his voice filled with resolve. "I will." With a deep breath, he began the arduous task of repairing the teleporter. Hours passed as he meticulously examined the damaged components, soldering wires, and replacing broken parts. The challenge was immense, but so was his determination. The fate of his friends rested on his ability to restore this device. The clock was ticking, and Josh knew he had to hurry. After what felt like an eternity, Josh finally managed to fix the teleporter. The last piece of the puzzle was in place, and the device hummed with a low, steady energy. A surge of relief and excitement washed over him. "Finally," he whispered, his voice filled with emotion. "Backrooms. Here we come." He rushed upstairs to his sister's room, pounding with anticipation. He knocked on the door, and after a few moments, Lisa opened it, her eyes heavy with sleep. "Oh, Josh, silly. What time is it? Why did you wake me up?" she grumbled, rubbing her eyes. Josh grinned, his excitement contagious. "Get ready to go to the backrooms, Lisa." Lisa's eyes widened in disbelief. "What are you joking about?" Josh shook his head, his expression serious. "No, I'm serious. Come with me." He took her hand and led her downstairs to his workshop. Lisa was still skeptical, but something in Josh's demeanor made her hesitate. "Oh, Josh, better not be lying to me," she said, her voice filled with doubt. Josh looked at her, his eyes filled with determination. "Trust me," he said, his voice steady. Lisa nodded, her curiosity piqued. "Fine, all right?" Josh took a deep breath. "Ready?" Lisa nodded, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. 3, 2, 1. Josh counted down, his fingers hovering over the button. With a final surge of energy, Josh pressed the button. A blinding light enveloped them, and they were pulled into the vortex. As the world around them dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors, they were transported back to the mysterious realm of the backrooms. The adventure was far from over. The fate of Selvic and Sarah, and the unraveling mysteries of the backrooms, awaited them. In the heart of the Shadow Bureau Operations headquarters, Mac was engaged in a conversation with an unseen figure on the other end of a secure line. "Yes, sir," Mac reported, a smug grin spreading across his face. "That scientist Selvic has been dealt with, and his friend has been sent back to the real world. They won't be coming back to the backrooms, haha." A chuckle echoed through the line, a chilling sound that sent shivers down one's spine. Meanwhile, in a different part of the labyrinthine complex, Noah, Mac's sinister son, was on a mission of his own. He strolled down a seemingly ordinary corridor, but a subtle shift in the wall revealed a hidden door. With a practiced hand, he slid the door open, revealing a secret chamber. Inside, a horrifying scene unfolded. Sarah, her once vibrant spirit now dimmed, was tied to a chair, her eyes wide with fear. "Wow, you're awake," Noah said, his voice dripping with false amusement. Sarah's voice was weak but defiant. "Why have you trapped me here?" Noah laughed, his eyes glinting with malice. "You'll be trapped here forever. We'll use you for our personal matters, haha." Sarah's heart sank, but her determination remained unwavering. "My friends will come for me, no matter where I am. They will rescue me." Noah's laughter grew louder. "Your friends? That scientist and that sweet man? Haha, I've taken care of them already. See this?" He held up an ID card, a replica of Selvic's. "It's mine now, haha." Sarah's eyes widened in horror. "What have you done to Selvic?" Noah's smile widened. "Nothing much, but we will soon, haha." The fate of Selvic and Sarah hung in the balance as the sinister plans of the Shadow Bureau operation unfolded. The screen was a void, a black expanse devoid of any light. A chilling silence enveloped the space, broken only by a faint whisper. "Josh? Josh, wake up!" Josh's eyes fluttered open, his vision adjusting to the darkness. He was alone, surrounded by an impenetrable blackness. "Who are you?" he croaked, his voice trembling. A figure emerged from the darkness, its form glowing with an ethereal light. The figure took shape, and Josh's eyes widened in disbelief. "Josh, good you're awake," the figure said, its voice familiar yet otherworldly. Josh rubbed his eyes, trying to make sense of the situation. "Who are you?" he asked again, his voice filled with confusion. "It's me, Felix," the figure replied, a warm smile gracing its face. Shock washed over Josh. "Felix? You from the backrooms? That Felix?" The figure chuckled. "Correct." Josh was speechless. Felix had died in the backrooms. How could he be alive? "I'm not the real Felix," the figure explained. "I'm just a part of your imagination." Guilt and sorrow filled Josh's heart. "I'm so sorry, Felix. You shouldn't have saved me. It cost you your life." Felix chuckled again. "That's not important. What was important was saving you." "Thanks," Josh said, his voice filled with gratitude. "I need to save Selvic and Sarah. I need to find them." Felix nodded, understanding the urgency in Josh's voice. You have to find them. And Josh, always remember, I'm always in your heart. Josh smiled, a flicker of hope igniting in his heart. Yeah, sure. The darkness around them began to dissipate, replaced by a blinding light. When Josh's vision cleared, he found himself in a small, cramped room. The walls were made of concrete, and the air was stale. Where are we? Lisa asked, her voice filled with fear. Josh looked around, taking in his surroundings. Welcome to the Backrooms, he said, his voice steady. Lisa's eyes widened in disbelief. You weren't joking? Josh smiled. See, now you believe me. Lisa shook her head, still processing the situation. Sorry, lil bro. From now on, I'll always believe you. Josh reached out and took her hand. All right, let's go. We need to find them. Lisa nodded, her fear replaced by determination. Find who? Josh explained. My friends, Selvic and Sarah. They're trapped here. We need to rescue them. Lisa's eyes filled with concern. You have friends in this world? Josh nodded, his resolve unwavering. Yeah, they're trapped here. We need to rescue them. Come on, let's go. And so, the journey to rescue their friends began. The path ahead was unknown. The fate of Selvic and Sarah rested in their hands. As Josh and Lisa navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Backrooms, they came across a heavy metal door. Josh cautiously opened it a crack and peered inside. His eyes widened in shock. A squad of S.O.B soldiers, armed to the teeth, guarded the area. What's going on? Lisa whispered, her voice trembling. Josh shushed her, his mind racing. We have to use the vent, he said, pointing to a small grate high on the wall. With agility born of desperation, Josh and Lisa climbed the vent, squeezing through the narrow opening. The vent was dusty and cramped, but it offered them a concealed passage through the enemy territory. After what felt like an eternity, they emerged from the vent into a spacious control room. The room was filled with advanced technology, and multiple screens displayed various data. To their surprise, the room was empty. Lisa, stay here, Josh whispered, his voice filled with determination. I'll be right back. Lisa nodded, her eyes wide with fear. Josh carefully climbed down from the vent and landed softly on the control room floor. As he began to explore the room, Lisa suddenly let out a muffled scream. Josh turned around just in time to see a shadowy figure grabbing Lisa from behind. His heart sank as he realized the gravity of the situation. His gaze fell on a framed photo on the desk. It was Sarah, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. Damn it, Josh muttered. His anger fueling his determination. As he scanned the room, his eyes landed on a map pinned to the wall. It showed a network of underground tunnels with a highlighted exit point. Without hesitation, he slipped the map into his pocket. Just as he was about to make his escape, the door to the control room burst open. Mac, the leader of the S.O.B, stood in the doorway, a menacing grin on his face. Whoa, what are you doing here? Mac asked, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Josh stood his ground, his anger growing. You? Not you again. Where's Selvic? Mac chuckled. Oh, that scientist? He went home. Trust me. Josh refused to believe him. Not this time. I won't trust you again. Mac's smile turned into a sneer. Fine, enough. Let's send you to a random location. Antarctica, ha-ha! With that, Mac pulled out a device resembling a gun. He selected a target, and the device glowed with an ominous red light. Enjoy your cold vacation, Mac said, pulling the trigger. A beam of energy shot towards Josh, who instinctively dodged to the side. The beam missed him, but struck the control panel, causing a series of explosions. Alarms blared as the room filled with smoke. Mac called for reinforcements, and a squad of soldiers stormed into the room, their guns trained on Josh. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. Josh was cornered, with no escape in sight, but his determination to rescue Selvic and Sarah burned stronger than ever. As the soldiers aimed their guns at Josh, their intent to eliminate him clear, a new development unfolded. Sir, look, we've got another trespasser, one of the soldiers exclaimed, his voice filled with surprise. Josh's heart sank as he saw his sister Lisa captured and held at gunpoint by another group of soldiers. Fear and anger consumed him. No, don't do anything to my sister, he pleaded, his voice trembling. Lisa, terrified, her eyes filled with tears, called out to Josh for help. Josh closed his eyes, his mind racing. He needed to find a solution, and fast. Then, a voice echoed in his head, the familiar voice of Felix. "Don't be afraid, Josh. There are always new ways to win." A surge of determination coursed through Josh. He had to think fast. Suddenly, a monstrous creature burst through the walls of the control room, its roar echoing through the corridors. The soldiers, caught off guard, turned their attention to the new threat, unleashing a barrage of bullets at the creature. The monster, impervious to the gunfire, retaliated with a fury and sent the soldiers flying. Chaos erupted as the creature wreaked havoc, tearing through the soldiers with ease. Taking advantage of the distraction, Mac escaped through a hidden passage in the wall. Josh, with a renewed sense of purpose, grabbed Lisa's hand and climbed the ladder leading back to the vent. As they ascended, they could hear the deafening roar of the battle raging below. "Thanks for saving me," Lisa whispered, her voice trembling. Josh nodded, his focus unwavering. "Anything for you, but we need to find Selvic and Sarah. I've got this map. It shows a place called the Death Room." Lisa's fear was replaced by determination. "I think it's very dangerous," she said, her voice filled with apprehension. Josh knew the risks, but he was determined to rescue his friends. "Yeah, but we need to find them. Come on, follow me," he said, his voice filled with resolve. As they disappeared into the labyrinth of vents, Noah and his father watched the unfolding chaos from a secure location. "Oh no, they're back, Dad," Noah said, his voice filled with anger. "We have to stop them from reaching that girl." Noah's father nodded, his eyes cold with determination. "Don't worry, son. They will be perished soon." The stage was set for a final showdown. Josh and Lisa, armed with determination and the map, were about to embark on a perilous journey into the heart of the Shadow Bureau operation. Meanwhile, Noah and his father were prepared to stop them at any cost. The fate of Selvic and Sarah, and the future of the Backrooms, hung in the balance. The scene shifted to a dimly lit chamber. Selvic, bound and gagged, hung precariously from the ceiling. Beneath him, a deadly trap awaited, its sharp edges glinting ominously in the dim light. Despite the perilous situation, Selvic remained calm. A plan was forming in his mind. "These death traps are nothing to me," he muttered, his voice muffled by the gag. With a surge of adrenaline, Selvic swung his body, creating momentum. The rope holding him snapped under the strain, and he plummeted towards the deadly trap below. But with a swift and precise movement, he managed to land on a small platform, avoiding the deadly spikes by mere inches. Adrenaline coursed through his veins as he stood up, his body aching from the fall. He wasted no time, making his way towards the exit. Meanwhile, Josh and Lisa were nearing their destination. As they approached the door to the death room, Josh cautiously opened it, revealing a horrifying sight. The room was a labyrinth of deadly traps designed to eliminate any intruders. Lisa's eyes widened in terror. "What's going on? Who are they?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Josh knew there was no time for explanations. "We need to complete this obstacle course to reach checkpoint 2, he said, his voice filled with determination. Fear and adrenaline combined as Lisa followed Josh through the treacherous room. They carefully navigated the deadly traps, their lives hanging in the balance. Finally, they reached the end of the room, only to find the exit door locked. Lisa's heart sank. "Now what?" she asked, her voice filled with despair. Before they could react, a horrifying creature emerged from the shadows. Its skeletal form and piercing red eyes sent shivers down their spines. Lisa screamed, her fear palpable. Josh's heart pounded as he faced the creature. "Oh no, who is this now?" he muttered, his voice filled with dread. Just as the creature was about to attack, a figure crashed through the ceiling. It was Selvic, covered in dust but unharmed. Josh's eyes widened in relief. "Selvic!" he exclaimed, rushing towards his friend and embracing him. Selvic returned the hug, his voice filled with emotion. "Glad you're alive," he said. Lisa, still trembling, looked at the two men with confusion. "Who is this?" she asked. Josh introduced them. "This is my friend Dr. Selvic, and Selvic, this is my big sister Lisa." Selvic and Lisa exchanged greetings. Josh turned to Selvic. "How did you manage to escape Mac's bondage?" Selvic explained. "It's a long story. First, we need to find Sarah." The group stood in the heart of the death room, surrounded by danger, but their bond was stronger than ever. The rescue mission was far from over, but with Selvic's expertise and their combined determination, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Josh, Lisa, and Selvic navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Backrooms, they encountered a new wave of S.O.B soldiers. The soldiers, armed to the teeth, blocked their path. "Come on, we need to go through this door," Josh said, his voice filled with urgency. The soldiers opened fire, their bullets ricocheting off the walls. The trio ducked for cover, their hearts pounding. With a burst of speed, they managed to reach the door and slam it shut. "What now?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. "We're trapped." Selvic, ever the calm and collected scientist, examined the wall. "Wait," he said, his eyes scanning the surface. "I think I see something." He pointed to a small, almost invisible mark on the wall. "Give me the map," he instructed. Josh handed him the map, and Selvic carefully compared it to the mark on the wall. A look of realization crossed his face. "This is checkpoint 2, he said. "We have to go through this passage to reach Sarah's room." Lisa nodded, her fear replaced by determination. As they stepped into the passage, the door slammed shut behind them. The corridor was dark and narrow, filled with an eerie silence. Suddenly, the door burst open, and the S.O.B soldiers poured into the room. "We've got them," one of the soldiers shouted. Selvic, unfazed by the threat, stood tall. "Wow, all of you here to get a nice beating from me?" he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The soldiers were enraged by his audacity. "Watch your mouth and surrender," one of them growled. Selvic smirked. "In your dreams," he replied. "I have an MSC." With those words, he pulled 2 strange-looking devices from his pocket. "What do these do?" Josh asked, his curiosity piqued. "These are very advanced devices I found in the Backrooms," Selvic explained. "With these, we can imagine anything, and it will become reality." Lisa's eyes lit up with excitement. "Then give me one. I'll help you." Selvic handed her one of the devices. "Thanks," he said. "Josh, go and save Sarah," Selvic instructed. "I'll handle these guys." Josh nodded and disappeared into the darkness of the corridor. "Ready, Lisa?" Selvic asked. "Yeah, I'll imagine attacking Barbie dolls," Lisa replied, her voice filled with determination. Selvic grinned. "Meatballs!" he exclaimed. With a flick of their wrists, the devices activated. Suddenly, the room was filled with an army of Barbie dolls and meatballs, attacking the unsuspecting soldiers with surprising ferocity. The soldiers, caught off guard, were quickly overwhelmed by the onslaught of plastic and food-based weaponry. As the chaos unfolded, Josh ventured deeper into the labyrinth, his heart filled with hope and determination. The rescue of Sarah was within reach. The battle between the S.O.B soldiers and the unlikely army of Barbie dolls and meatballs raged on, while Josh continued his mission to save Sarah. The fate of the Backrooms hung in the balance.
A few moments later.
As Josh navigated the narrow, winding passage, his mind was filled with a mix of fear and hope. The Backrooms, once a place of endless exploration, had become a terrifying labyrinth of danger and deceit. He could see the exit, a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. The thought of freedom filled him with a surge of energy. Meanwhile, back in the control room, the S.O.B soldiers were unconscious, their bodies sprawled across the floor. Selvic, leaning against the wall, was bleeding from a wound on his shoulder. "Good tackle, Lisa," he said, his voice weak. Lisa, her eyes filled with concern, replied, "I learned from you." Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Mac, his face contorted with rage. "Who is this?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. Selvic looked up, his eyes widening in shock. "Mac?" Mac's gaze fell on Selvic's suit. A look of disbelief crossed his face. "It can't be true," he muttered, dropping his gun. Lisa was confused. "What happened to him?" she asked. Selvic shook his head, his mind racing. "I don't know. Something went wrong." The scene was filled with a sense of unease. Mac, the once formidable leader of the Shadow Bureau operation, was now a defeated man. The power dynamic had shifted, and the fate of the Backrooms was hanging in the balance. As Josh neared the exit of the secret passage, his heart pounded with anticipation. He could see a glimmer of light ahead, a beacon of hope in the darkness. As he stepped out into the open, his eyes widened in surprise. Before him lay a vast, illuminated laboratory. The air was thick with the scent of chemicals and scientific equipment. "Oh, what a lab," Josh muttered to himself. "I think Sarah is trapped here." Just as he was about to enter the lab, a voice echoed through the room. "Indeed." Josh turned around, his eyes scanning the laboratory for any sign of life. Then he saw it, a chair facing away from him. "Sarah?" he called out, his voice filled with hope. A figure stood up from the chair, turning to face him. Josh's heart skipped a beat. "Wait, what, you?" he exclaimed, his voice filled with disbelief.